Waking up and the stars align. SSG, I'm in my prime. Hey, wanna join the gang, but you ain't got ties. Pulling right up, right where you reside.
Alright man, we back with another reaction video. Today we are reacting to how pacing is ruining Stranger Things. Now, I don't know if y'all are caught up. Right now, I'm sort of caught up. Not really. I think I got one more episode of Season 5, Volume 2. I think I left off with the situation with Jonathan and Nancy. I'm not going to get into it in case y'all didn't watch it. But that's where I left off at. I'm not going to lie. The show is kind of... I just feel like, based upon how they picked up from Season 4 to Season 5, I feel like they should have picked up right away from Season 4 when Hawkins looked like hell, versus like 11 months into the future. Like, I don't know why they did a time skip. Yeah, I feel like the pacing is all over the place. There's too many plot holes left for us to only have one more episode left for New Year's. So I don't know, let's get into this video. Let's see what they say about Stranger Things. That's just my intake so far, but I'll go more in depth as we continue this reaction. Let's get into it. How pacing is ruining Stranger Things. I don't know about y'all, but this show, honestly, this last season, wait, what's this one? Was I the only one who looked like buying into Stranger Things? Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but this season really is not catching me, y'all. I'm be honest. Like, my biggest complaint is just like how this video says, the pacing. I feel like they're not moving like it's a dire situation. I don't feel stressed for the characters. Like, at first, my theory was like, all right, 11 and Steve is gonna die. And the reason why I say that is because, like, 11 is never going to be able to live a normal life. She's going to sacrifice herself. But honestly, that was my initial thought. Because of how the pacing is going now, I feel like she's just going to vanish after everything is done and fake her death, quote unquote. But all in all, I feel like there's no, like anxiety or, like, scare or fear that, like, one of your favorite characters is going to die. Unlike it, Welcome to Derry, like, unless you knew, like, the context and like which characters were related, you didn't know who was going to die. Like, it was that feeling of stressfulness. Like, I'm not getting that from Stranger Things. It's the last season. I'm pretty sure the Duffer Brothers said it was supposed to be the darkest season, and nobody's dying. Everybody's apparently smart now too. Like, everybody has an Albert Einstein moment that was supposed to just be like a character trope for Dustin, like the smartest one. But like, now Robin is coming up with theories, Lucas is coming up with theories, Erica coming up with theories. Even the girl Holly, like the little sister, Mike's little sister, she's supposed to be a scary little girl. And I'm not trying to spoil it for y'all, but I feel like I'm saying stuff that's not like out of context because it's not anything that's like crazy. But it was in one scene where Holly, they was trying to figure out the whole Vecna situation with the cave and everything like that. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to go too into detail, but she was able to figure out the situation with the cave. Like, oh, this is my theory. And then she tells Max, and I'm like, bro, like, you're supposed to be a scared little girl. How are you figuring this out? Everybody got an Albert Einstein moment. I'm like, it's just lazy writing. On top of the pacing is weird. 11's not even the main character no more. They focusing too much on Will. It's just all over the place, man. Let me know what y'all think down below. I'm saying that. Let me know what y'all think, chat. All right. But for people that's going to be watching the VOD after this, because it's going to go on YouTube, obviously, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, y'all messing with this new season? Me personally, oh no, I'm not gonna lie. And it's too much to conclude. I don't know how they're gonna conclude it, honestly. I really don't. I think the Duffer Brothers went over their head. If we're to be one last episode for tomorrow for New Year's, and it's supposed to be 2 hours, like, yeah, that's a good runtime, but like, it's too many questions to answer. I feel like they're gonna rely on spinoffs and rely on people having to go see the live show of basically like the prequel, like Vecna story, which is like a Broadway show or like a play. Like, nobody's trying to do all that. Let's get our answers. We've been waiting for like 10 years. The show been out for mad long. The kids are adults now. Let's just get into it, man. Y'all doing too much.
I love Stranger
But yeah, I know I just chatted my ass off. Let's get into the video.
Things. It has been a show I've watched for
I'm just passionate, man. I'm passionate. This is one of my favorite shows, you feel me? And I've been growing up with watching this show. Like, all these actors is my age, and they all was kids while I was a kid watching this, and they still have not answered questions that we have. Like, come on, bro.
years, and I consider myself to be a huge fan of it, but something happened on Christmas night that I find to be inexcusable. For a show that has a massive fan base surrounding it, somehow they were able to take what should be the bulk of the season and turn it into a messy, poorly paced jumble of multiple plot lines that ruins all emotional emphasis it was trying to bring. I gave this a pass when I first watched it. I brought it up a few times to my friends, but I still tried to get myself to look past it, and sure, this season is building up to what could be a crazy finale and possibly the best episode of the show, but at what cost? Sacrificing all of Volume 2 to draw more hype to everything it has to solve in the final episode?
Alright, last thing I'm gonna say, not last thing, but last thing right now, because I'm gonna let the video rock out. They should have picked up with season 5 right after season 4, where Hawkins was looking like hell. Like, bruh, Hawkins, the ground was opening up. It was red lightning. The demo bats. We don't even see the demo bats no more. Like, where the hell is the demo bats at? You feel me? Like, they should have picked up right from there, like where 11 had the cut. She had the ball cut. You feel me? Like, now her hair grow out. It's 11 months later. Like, why are we doing another time skip? I get that y'all want to quote unquote like, all right, let's time skip to make it look like the kids grew up, but like, bro, they already look like adults in season 4. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Y'all waited too long between season to season. And I know that I'm criticizing it hard, but like, bro, they should have just picked up right after that. Like, I feel like that would have been crazy. You'd have been seeing Demogorgons running in the streets. Like, everybody just forgot about all the smoky clouds. And let me just show y'all. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about, but just picked up right from here, bro. Like, when things look crazy, how do y'all just go on? And I'm talking about the regular town, not the crew. But like, how does the regular town just ignore that? Like, that looks like hell, bro. Y'all just skip past that 11 months later. Doop-de-doo, military, you know what I'm saying? Yada, yada. Like, bro, I know it was people that was just grocery shopping at the grocery store and they see a demo bat. You know what I'm saying? Like, red lightning in the sky. Like, I'm if I'm a normal person, I'm not with they group. I'm thinking like, we cooked. It's hell on Earth. But everybody just go back to normal living. Anyways, let's get back to it, man. Because I could talk about this all day. For real. I could talk about my theories. I could talk about what I think. We'd be here all day.
This would not be a big problem if Stranger Things Season 6 is coming, but it's not. Stranger Things has dug itself into a hole, or should I say, wormhole, that doesn't seem to know exactly how to manage a story of this scale when it was able to do other large and more focused A, B, and sometimes C plots very well and to massive success. Stranger Things is not losing the plot. The plot is good, and of course that's subjective to people's taste, but bad pacing will drag down a brilliant concept, and it seems Stranger Things has shot itself in the foot when it comes to this. So let's talk about how pacing is ruining Stranger Things. Make sure to like, comment, hype, join my Discord server, and subscribe if you want a full breakdown of Stranger Things Season 5 once the finale releases. I normally don't post on any other day besides Wednesday, but Wednesday is the finale, and I need to say my piece before it releases because pacing is more important than it sounds. What is pacing, though? Sure, you know what writing is, directing the writing onto the big screen, but pacing plays a big part in how directors direct. And somehow, I'd argue the directors did not do justice in episode 5 and 6, and I promise I will talk about 7 on its own soon. Pacing is how a show like this is structured and how it should be able to let a scene go on from one scene to the next seamlessly by letting it take its time and keep a consistent pace, almost like it's jogging. Now, with Shock Jock episode 5, I think the beginning of it is pretty good. It starts directly where the previous one ended, but its main issue comes when all the characters start going off and doing different things. For example, in this episode, it has a total of 6 different plot lines going on all in one.
Facts. And that's what I mean. Like, somebody gotta go. I'm sorry. Somebody has to go. It's too many people, bruh. And this is supposed to be the finale. We supposed to be stressed. I don't feel stressed about no character. Like, again, like, I love Steve. That's my favorite character between him and Eddie. But honestly, I thought Steve was going to be gone. I don't feel that way no more. Like, I thought 11 was going to be gone. I'm not sure. We're not at the finale, like the final episode, but I don't feel that way no more. And then especially with the scene where Nancy and Jonathan got stuck in that place and it was the goo. And then the goo just, like, stopped and it hardened up. I'm like, bruh. Like, the plot armor is ridiculous. Let's at least kill Jonathan. Kill him, like, bro. Jonathan gotta go. I'm not... Bro, I know I'm criticizing it hard, but, like, alright, let's be honest, chat. Like, we've never heard nobody say Jonathan's my favorite character in Stranger Things. He gots to go. Somebody gotta go. Somebody gotta do it for the team, bro. Somebody gotta do it for the team. I've heard people say, yo, Luke's my favorite character, Max my favorite character, Steve, 11. You never heard nobody say Jonathan's my favorite character. What does he do besides run behind Nancy and say, Nancy, I'm scared, Nancy, help? Bro, you're the man, bro. Lead her. She leading you with the shotgun. Come on, he gotta go.
An episode, and here's how I found that out. I went through the entire episode a second time, finding every part of the plot that is different from the others. We start the episode off with our first one where it follows up on the events of the last volume, where it mainly consists of Mike, Joyce, and Will, but it also involves Murray, Robin, and Lucas all in separate places, but because it's part of one big thing, I'm classifying it as its own. Our second is when we move on to the Mr. What's-It plot again, but this time all of the kids. It's more aftermath, but soon turns into...
How y'all feel about dipshit Derek? I ain't like him at first, but he funny. He a laughable character. And that's another thing. Stranger Things always got to introduce like a funny side character, or like, not funny, a lovable side character.
To its own story. After the title card, we get 11, Callie, and Hopper in the Upside Down after they escape the military, and because the military is only in this beginning scene, I'm not going to count it because there is no emphasis on it throughout episode 5 and 6. Our first plotline connects all of its characters in one room before moving on to our fourth with Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Dustin exploring Hawkins' lab, but what used to be its own thing in the previous episode becomes two, as Nancy and Jonathan, plot 4, go one way, and Steve and Dustin, plot 5, go another, arguably splitting the focus. We then go back to the Mr. What's-It plot, and it splits into two with the actual Mr. What's-It kids and Max, Holly, and kinda Derek being two separate things that take place in the same mind. The only reason why I'm not splitting these up and not making them one big one is because Derek does go and do other things with the rest of the kids and Henry, so this makes 6. And may I just say, all of this takes place in the first 18 minutes and 30 seconds and lasts until the end of the episode. To clear things up, I am not going to count 8 talking to 11 about her past because technically this is still part of the same thing with Hopper. He's just absent in these.
See, I'm just like him, bro. Don't get it misconstrued. I love the show. We just hard critics. Like, when you love something, you gotta criticize it hard too. It come with tough love.
Moments. And I'm also ignoring, for now, when we split again,
But
where
all
some...
in all, I'm hoping for the best, bro. I really am. I just don't know how they're gonna conclude it with one last episode.
Some of the crew goes after Schmookums, and some stay behind to electrocute the Demogorgon. I'm not counting this because we don't see Erica and Murray again in the episode, but this will come back in episode 6. So to talk about Escape from Camazotz, we start with the two plotlines right off the bat. Steve and Dustin, and Nancy and Jonathan. Sure, they are trying to reunite, but they both do their own things throughout the rest of the episode, as Steve and Dustin try to get back to them and Nancy and Jonathan try not to die. Then we are introduced to a new plotline where Murray and Erica find Schmookums. I know some will argue that this is only one scene they are in together throughout the entire episode, but because this is technically its own branch of the story, I'm calling it another plotline already.
Man, my man's the teacher was in there getting some buns, wasn't he?
Leaving us at 3 before the title card even starts. Schmookum's plotline counts, and the military doesn't because the military portion of it wasn't starting anything new. It was just showing that 8, 11, and Hopper have escaped, whereas Schmookums is directly leading into a new thing they need to solve, even if they don't come back in this episode. We are then brought back to 8, 11, and Hopper, which makes 4 plot lines before the title card, but after that, at the 20-minute mark, it becomes combined with the first plot line we talked about in Shock Jock. We're also reintroduced to our 2 inside of Vecna's mind so far, coming at 6 plot lines. We then split the Will story from everyone else, as he has another role he plays in this as a spy for Vecna, where he stays for most of the episode, which makes 7 so far. The reason why this isn't connected to the rest of the L, Mike, and everyone else at the radio station is because we flash back to Will being held captive in that same place 4 separate times. And they seem to really nail this into our heads because Vecna says his one last timeline 2 out of the 4 times we go back to that same place. We then branch off even more with Robin and Lucas going to the hospital. For a second, Robin and Lucas are doing 2 different things.
I'm not gonna lie though, if 11 don't have to sacrifice herself, I could see Will doing it. And the reason why I say that is because, like, what's the name? Vecna said he was gonna use Will one last time as like a vessel or whatever. And also now that like Will is kind of like the first child and also still has a connection with Vecna, I feel like he's going to have to, if not 11, he's going to like try to trap Vecna. He's going to be too powerful to where he's going to try to trap Vecna, or they're going to get sucked into like that little black hole spot that you've seen or whatever to save Hawkins and to save his friends. I can see him sacrificing himself. Yeah. Also, he kind of had his closure. You know what I'm saying? He did the whole situation, and I'm not caught up, but I seen everybody been posting about it on Instagram and stuff. Like, he did the whole coming out thing or whatever. So, like, he already did that. his mom is sort of like let her hand go off of him to the point where she's not as protective. He kind of did a full circle of like his character. There's not really much else that we can do with him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's complete. Everybody else, they still have like character tropes and everything that they still have to get through, but I feel like with Will, he kind of did everything.
Coming back together really
I can see
quick.
him
So I'm not
checking.
going to count it as 2, but I'm going to count it as 1 more, leading to 8 total. For the rest of the episode, we bounce
And they've been emphasizing on Will a lot this season. Like, he's basically the main character now.
back and forth between some of these, but even if we don't count Erica and Murray, we still have 7, which is more than Shock Jock. Before we get into episode 7, aka The Bridge, I need to talk about how ridiculous it is to have so many plot lines going at the same time. Sure, both episodes are over an hour long, but geez, it just keeps cutting back and forth from one monologue session to another without taking priority in one of them. What angers me most actually comes from Escape from Camazotz, which is easily the most frustrating episode of the season so far. And that's because we learn in the first 6 minutes what the Upside Down actually is, and it's this huge twist that the more you think about it makes a lot of sense, but then they just don't talk about it for the rest of the episode. I think that although stupid how uninterested the plot is in looking more into that huge twist,
just made me have more
makes
questions
sense
about it.
because who else is Steve and Dustin going to tell? They're basically all alone throughout this episode as they repair their friendship, which I must say is one of the highlights of the whole episode.
Yeah,
What
I liked everything about that. I feel like obviously every show, even like Stranger Things included, are gonna have like the emotional scenes and stuff. This was the only scene that was like emotional that hit me. I was like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he really just want like a big brother type of thing. His other big brother Eddie, you know what I'm saying, going, and like he kind of looking at Steve and he was like, oh, I don't want you to go too, or he was like, I don't want you to go again. You know what I'm saying? He looked at both of them like his big brother. But like the scene with Nancy Jonathan, it wasn't hitting. The scene with Hopper and Max, and she like, you gotta find your own way, wasn't hitting. Every other emotional scene just didn't do it for me. It was only this one that was like, all right, I could dig that.
As they repair their friendship, which I must say is one of the highlights of the whole episode. What angers me more, though, is the more time a scene spends on a character without switching perspectives is exactly 8 minutes and 6 seconds long with Nancy and Jonathan's talk, starting at 41 minutes and 34 seconds into the episode and ending at 49 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, although
This
you
whole
may
scene pissed me off, bro. And then when she like, you could tell she's still stuck on my boy Steve. Like, all right, you saying that you're not, but you giving backhand compliments like, yeah, Steve, haha. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the best hair, the greater hair, whatever. I would have pushed her in that joint. Like, you sitting here talking about this nigga, really? While we about to die? Or we think we about to die? I would have pushed you.
argue I must be crazy to be pointing out a scene like this because it's so touching, Enchanted. What do you hate straight people or something, you bastard? Although I won't criticize the concept of the scene because it should be touching, but compared to everything we've seen, it's extremely out of place and out of left field when you realize the average cut in these episodes happens around 2 to 3 minutes. 8 minutes for one scene is horrifyingly long because you get
Facts.
used to how
Just for nothing to happen, for them to get saved by pure plot armor. Like, the liquid goo just freezes up and it turns solid. Like, what are we doing, bro?
fast-paced it feels, and then you get hit with this really long scene that, although has good intentions of actually letting the characters breathe, it ruins the entire pacing of the episode. The pacing was already butchered by how many plot lines there are in these 2 episodes, but all the emotion that could have come from the scene is lost when, admittedly, you lose interest in this supposedly heartfelt breakup because it drags on for so long compared to everything else. Shock Jock I can at least give a little pass to because there are so many plot lines and so many cuts back to back to back to back, but at least it wasn't stupid enough to break its consistently fast-paced editing. Either way though, these 2 episodes ruin any sort of emotional emphasis due to how fast-paced it is. And although it's easy to lock into Stranger Things when you start the episode, it's hard to lock in and remember equally for 8 different parts of the plot that are happening at the same time. Now to move on to episode 7, aka the Talk of the Town, and the lowest rated episode of this season, and the second lowest episode of the show based on IMDb reviews, I must admit that I rewatched this episode in its entirety after release, and I think this is easily the most competently made episode of all of Volume 2 because the pacing is fixed. But coming off the lightning round that was episode 5 and 6, I can understand why episode 7 can be a snooze at times. The pacing was so abysmally breakneck in the first 2 episodes.
I didn't watch this episode yet, but honestly, I don't care. Because, like, it didn't, like, he's saying, like, it wasn't much that happened. And when I've seen people talk about it, like kind of, or like Instagram stories, because like I follow people, everybody watched the show, like basically all I heard the highlight of it was Will coming out. I really don't care if I get spoiled. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna eventually watch it, but like it doesn't seem like an interesting episode.
That it makes episode 7 feel even longer when we actually have characters interacting for longer than a couple seconds. The reason I say this is the most competently made is because on my rewatch, it's much easier to enjoy and go with the flow because there aren't any
Bro, I know this bull Steve ain't just have a Einstein moment too. This is what I'm saying. Everybody has this character trope now where they just become genius out of nowhere and come up with their own theory. Like, bro, can we just leave that to one person? And that one person was supposed to be Dustin. Dustin was supposed to be the only smart one. Now it's Rob and everybody else. Like, bro, come on, man. Y'all relying too much on that. Like,
made is
it just feels like cringy at times. I'm not gonna lie.
because on my rewatch, it's much easier to enjoy and go with the flow because there aren't any fast-paced edits. And finally, a lot of these plotlines come together and are working alongside each other equally for most of the episode, specifically at the end. But come on, most people watched all 3 of these episodes back to back to back. So the whiplash you have from episode 5 and 6 really make episode 7 drag, and I don't think I need to tell you how bad that is for a penultimate episode of a show. I don't think I would have made this video if the bridge had the same pacing as episode 5 and 6, but for some reason everyone is blaming episode 7 for the show turning sour when it is 100% shock and Escape from Camazotz butchering the season's plot. Obviously there is a huge reason why the bridge is also widely hated, and that's because Will said I don't like girls, and although I'd never be able to change people's mind about that even if I tried, stop and smell the roses, people. You are blaming the wrong episode for something that was trying to return to normal. And although sure, I don't think The Bridge is a great penultimate episode, at least it sets up everything we possibly need to know before going into the finale. And if the finale is as rushed as Volume 2 was, I wouldn't be surprised if we all turn on Stranger Things just like we turned on Squid Game earlier this year. Speaking of the end of the year, this is my final video 2025, and I hope you enjoyed. I really do want Stranger Things to succeed. And
Same. Might be my final video of 2025, guys. Depending on, well, this is gonna be my final stream of 2025, but depending on when this video is posted on YouTube, this might be my first video of 2026. So, but great things coming for this year, man. Great things, especially a lot of movies. I'm talking about movies. I love movies, but for this channel too, we're gonna turn it up a notch for sure. And the main channel, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about my YouTube channels too, but even this channel right here, this Twitch channel, bro, we're gonna turn this shit up this year.
I will happily take down this video if somehow the finale sticks the landing so well that it justifies Volume 2. But I didn't want to fret from saying what I want before the series comes to an end. Have a happy new year, everybody. I'm Enchanted. Bye.
Yeah, man. Again, like I said before, let me know what y'all think about Stranger Things. Are y'all messing with it? Y'all not? Let me know what y'all think. Me personally, I gave y'all my intake. I'm just hoping that they clutch up. That's all. All in all, though, it's definitely going to leave us with a lot of questions.